Right. Hello, everybody. It's the Melon Man, and I'm back, continuing my life seeking and my looking for truth and looking for opportunity and looking for inspiring people to make change in their lives. I've met and run into Eric Baudry, and Eric has moved himself to Costa Rica to relocate himself and relocate his life there after leaving Los Angeles and the corporate life. I mean, it seems like most of us are trying to get to Los Angeles. And here's Eric, who had a successful corporate life job there in his 20s. And when he was somehow, I guess, awakened, hopefully he's going to share a little bit of that with us today. He was awakened to how he was maybe generating an income and financially able to, get the right car and get the right house and get the right things, but found that he was at the same time not really fulfilled by that. Mm-hmm. And I think that so many people can relate to that. And that's why I think that this is a really important conversation today. So what Eric chose to do is, I think, monumental and fantastic. What he's done is he's picked himself up and he went to Costa Rica and he explored, a world where I've been to Costa Rica one time for my 10th wedding anniversary. My wife and I went down for a retreat, actually. And I loved the experience. The country is just so fantastic. And there's just such a different allocation of funds within the economy there that makes that country so special. So I guess he must have done some research and chose that country and went there. And after a couple of years of existing in Costa Rica, developed Upward Spyros, which is a not-for-profit corporation that is focused on sustainable living communities. And what's going on our planet today is that so many of us, especially in the West, are living in a manner that, although it may fulfill material wealth and things for us, it's leaving us rather empty, and it's actually taking away from our planet. And Eric has made a commitment in his life to promoting a less is more lifestyle. It's voluntary simplicity. He's designed a corporation that's not for profit that is helping health and wellness coaches like myself. He's managing retreats, which I'm so passionate about. So I'm glad that I'm getting a chance to talk and understand here. He's managing a consulting company down there, and he's focused on voluntary simplicity. Having people learn how to be more than just get and acquire things, and how that can create a life for the community and the world that's better than the current system that we're living in. I think it's fantastic, the commitment that he's made, and I'm super excited to talk to him about it and sort of bring this understanding of what he's doing forward, and talk a little bit about, what he's doing for health and wellness coaches, because I'm a health and wellness coach that loves wellness retreats. Eric, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into all of this?
Sure, absolutely. Well, thank you for inviting me here today, John. I've been looking forward to it. So I designed the Sustainable Living Expedition. I'm also the lead facilitator. And basically what I did is I started about 15 years ago in the corporate world. I got a degree in finance. I went to work for a strategic consulting company, and I had the good fortune at the time of serving Fortune 500 companies, which was very interesting. It allowed me to accumulate a lot of wealth, a lot of power, and theoretically a lot of success. And after doing that for some time, I started to feel that I wasn't actually fulfilled with that. And I started looking for what would bring more satisfaction to my life? Because up till then, I had thought that it was going to be mostly through consuming and acquiring things. So I was, when I bought $1 million house, I was really happy with myself, and I got a sports car, and that was great. And then I just realized that that happiness was so fleeting and didn't really leave me feeling very fulfilled. And even over time, I started to get into it more deeply, and I wondered, what is it that I really had to do in order to achieve that? And are the actions I'm taking in my corporate world in line with my values? And so that was an epiphany that led to a lot of energy to make a change. Realizing that I wouldn't be happy continuing on in my current lifestyle, and that it was really time to look for and consider other options. So first out of that, I started a company called Sustainable Home Improvement, where I was helping people who are remodeling their homes around Los Angeles do it in more environmentally friendly ways. So reducing waste to the landfill, picking materials that didn't have as many toxic properties to them, and finding methods of installing them that were more efficient and sustainable. And that was a good step in the right direction, but was still not really the level of impact that I was hoping to have. I was seeking to both reduce my personal ecological footprint, but I really wanted to have a bigger impact than that. I wanted to, as much as possible, help other people to reduce their impact, knowing that reducing mine was a fantastic place to start and the most important first goal. And then after that, for the sake of creating a sustainable world, there's really many millions or billions of people who would like to have increasing qualities of life and access to a lot of the conveniences and comforts that our modern economy provides. But that increasingly, with the way that our economy is configured, there's a tremendous amount of environmental damage that comes along with people meeting their needs in that way. And so I wanted to both find a way that I could live a great lifestyle without hurting the environment and without degrading local communities, but also to do that in a way that would help a lot of other people do that as well.
Amazing. Amazing. You said something there that I've heard a lot, when people talk about sustainability. You talked about ecological footprint. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Absolutely. So the concept of ecological footprint relates to the fact that all members of life on this planet consume a certain amount of resources just in the course of living. And that ranges all the way from almost no resources for, let's say, small bacteria, all the way up to humans kind of at the high end, where we're consuming a lot of resources to live our lifestyle. And there's a huge amount of range in between, obviously. So for example, when I was living in Los Angeles, the lifestyle I had there was estimated to use an equivalent of 5 Earths worth of natural resources. Now, what that means, obviously we only have one Earth, so what does it mean to use 5 Earths worth? Well, what that really means is that if everybody else on the planet was consuming as much as I did to achieve my lifestyle, that it would have taken 5 Earths worths of resources to do that. Now, obviously we can't do that, so that really means a couple of things. One, only a small percentage of the planet could realistically have that lifestyle if without completely degrading the environment. And it's in contrast to a lot of places that obviously have much less than I did when I was in Los Angeles. So meaning specifically that, let's say, a lot of my food, a lot of my fruits and vegetables came from 1,600 miles away, is the factoid that I read about. And so what that means is that just to buy an apple, I basically had to it had to be shipped, thousands of miles away, and it had to be a variety of apple that had a really long shelf life and a nice appearance and a strong ability to withstand pesticides and all these things. And all of that in comparison to, let's say, right now, the ecological footprint of me eating an apple is almost nothing because it comes from a tree that grows down the road. There's no fossil fuel, there's no packaging. It's extremely fresh and nutritious, so I'm getting the maximum amount of health from it. So that's on the food side. And then just the last piece about that is depending on how people live their lives in terms of transportation, in terms of what their work is, all of that adds up to more and more ecological footprint. So in the long-term goal, hopefully, on average, people will learn to live with about an ecological footprint of one Earth, because that's what we got.
That is so fantastic, and that is just a major switch, a paradigm in my mind that I'm just getting right now. And what's going through my mind right now is so much is we get what we give. We get what we give, and if we are living in such a way that we are giving death and destruction to our world, then what do we expect is going to be coming back into our life?
Sure, exactly.
What's going to be reciprocating to us?
Exactly. And it's also it's a really important time, I think, in human evolution, for us to really become aware of how intimately connected we are with our environment. Whether we can really see it or sense it a lot of times, the only true way for humans as individuals and as a society to thrive is if we ensure the long-term thriving of our environment. And you could look at that purely in a very functional standpoint about if this is where our food and water comes from, and we want to put non-poisonous food and non-poisonous water into our bodies, then we need to be really sure to not let it get into the food in the first place. So that's really the main aspect. And then some people also have like a more, let's say, philosophical perspective on it. And this is different for every person, obviously, but some people really care about that because of just a desire to not see nature and animals and habitat be destroyed, just purely for the well-being of those animals, never mind the services and benefits that they provide for people. It's just an overall desire to not see wildlife get harmed, and to not see our favorite parks and rivers be degraded or turned into developments. And so that's there's a lot of different motivations that people have, anything from conservation to doing the right thing to self-preservation, to just trying something out different because the rat race isn't fulfilling them. There's a lot of reasons people move towards this, but I think the overall goal is to really help people imagine what's possible, because it's unbelievable how many different ways of living sustainably and regenerative they are. And you don't really get a whole lot of those in your day-to-day Facebook feed or on the news or whatever, because those lifestyles aren't also making a lot of money for the corporations that are spending a lot of money on the marketing and the advertising. So it's not really in there. I wouldn't even say it's complicated or a conspiracy theory or anything like that. It's just simply, it's not in their best interests to let us know about all of these awesome things. So that's kind of where we come in. We've identified hundreds of fantastic sustainable solutions and ways to live regeneratively, dozens of the most innovative and pioneering places around Costa Rica and the rest of the world that are leading that, and focusing on the groups that are trying to share their knowledge with everybody, so that not just they can experience sustainability, but they can help everybody who's awakening to this to start to move towards it in really practical ways.
That's so awesome. What's coming to my mind right now is, I'm in the process of unfooding. I'm eating less, and I'm teaching that. That's a big part of my program and my lifestyle, teaching people how to live on less food, and so obviously having to be a leader of that and unfooding myself, and it just dawns on me as I've just not eaten for 5 days. So I'm just finishing up a 5-day fast and recognizing how I can get energy from so many other things in my life. And there's so much other joy and happiness other than food. And what struck me a lot this week was that idea of gluttony. And gluttony is, thought of mostly as something we do with our food. However, gluttony is more than just our food. Gluttony is like expansive, and it's a part of our entire being. We've become gluttonous beyond just food, and by unfooding, we can actually realize the gluttony we have with our food, and hopefully we can see the gluttony that we have in all aspects of our life. So that ecological footprint is like a perfect explanation of how we're just living gluttonously in the Western world. And we all need to wake ourselves up a little bit to what we're doing just by, living in the rat race like we think we have to. Maybe we need to rethink how we're living, myself included. I'm not, trying to tote myself as being any better than anybody else here. So, I love what you're doing. I'm totally excited about, having an opportunity to connect with you. How does this now, like you talked about, to me, you mentioned that you work with health and wellness coaches and you do wellness retreats. Can you talk to me a little bit about, your sustainable living? You have a sustainable living event coming up.
Absolutely.
You've got a couple of events coming up.
Yes, exactly. So we, to give a context for that, so as Upward Spyros, we've created about a dozen different programs. The majority of them are free and are intended purely to support as many of the other sustainability educators, wellness coaches, life coaches, community builders, organic food producers, natural builders, permaculturalists, everybody who we possibly can. We want to support them so that we can all be essentially a larger, more interconnected and effective network. The same kind of benefits that the huge mega corporations around the world are taking advantage of. We can do that a lot better as just a network of small organizations. So we're focused on creating these programs that help everybody do that. So we've got the learning calendar, which is a directory of the various wellness retreats around Costa Rica, permaculture trainings, sustainability education. We put together the organic directory, which is 200 sources of organic food all around the country. We have the sustainable living expedition that you were referring to a moment ago. That's a week-long training where we visit the most inspiring and pioneering sustainability and permaculture projects around Costa Rica. We see what they've been successful at, what isn't working. We pick up a lot of really practical ideas about how to replicate what we saw. And then also we connect with some of the more thoughtful and leading people in sustainability. So we basically make our network stronger and we develop more opportunities to get deeper into all of this. So then the other piece of it is that we also run an events network. And so at this point, we've done a little bit over 30 wellness events around Costa Rica. And this ranges on all kinds of topics related to living well. And obviously everybody's got a different idea of what that means, but there's a lot of commonalities. So it means like clean food. So like it'll almost always include a lot of organic, local, sustainably sourced food. We'll learn about medicinal plants. We'll learn about natural building, how to use local renewable materials to make high quality homes. We'll learn about community development and how to enrich your local community at the same time as deriving a personal livelihood, so that as you create your own abundance, it also benefits the people around you instead of a more competitive and scarcity way of looking at it. We'll do a lot of really practical training so that we both get the specific ideas from the people, and then we really hone in on how can we bring that back into our personal lives, or if we're not thinking about making our own circumstances more sustainable and we really are thinking about leaving the rat race or trying to find an intentional community or going somewhere and trying something new, we give people as many tips as we can about how to make those transitions successfully, like how to plan for all of the pieces and to really make a good go of it, so that people who want to really follow their hearts and live their values and try a different lifestyle that may be more fulfilling for them, that they've got the highest chance of that working as possible.
Amazing. Amazing. So now this is an event that you promote to North Americans, that they can just come down for a week and learn how to live in a different way.
That's right. So it's actually it's global, though the most people that are interested in it do come from North America and from Europe. And I think that's probably because that's where, the corporate and the rat race and just a lot of the unfulfilling work is. And so I think that's where a lot of people are thinking about these lifestyles. We do also have Costa Ricans who join us, but on average, Costa Ricans already know a lot more about living sustainably than we do coming from northern cities. And it'll be a range, so we'll do, there'll be foreigners, there'll be locals. We'll also work with people that are in the community that have moved here from other countries that are still in the process of transitioning. So we'll integrate people so that they can have a way to be more a part. Yeah, and so let's say the last time that we did one, there was I think there were about 20 of us total, about 5 of us on the team, and then 15 people joined us. And we went and we visited 1 or 2 different farms and sustainable projects every day throughout the week. And we'd have amazing, tropical organic fruit breakfasts, super healthy, local, sustainable vegan meals for lunch and dinner. We do farm to table. People can actually touch the plants that they're about to eat and be involved in the food preparation with some of the best vegan chefs in the world. We've really had tremendous fortune to connect with, well over 100 of the most inspiring and educational people and projects around the country. And so then on the expedition, we're going to go and visit about 12 of our favorites, the people who really did it right. And in a number of ways, people who did it right by coming down here with a lot of money and buying a big piece of land and just tricking it out with all of the things right away. And then other people that came out here with a tent and lived on the land, off of the land with no power, no water, no road for years, and then finally put on a roof and then brought in water, and all of that years before they had electricity. And at this point, they've been down here 7 years, and they're some of the happiest people you've ever met. And because of the way they did it, they probably only live on maybe $200 or $300 a month. And this isn't like what you see on TV, like, these poor people in Africa living on $200 a month or less. These are people who are thriving. They're extremely happy, and they love sharing what worked, what didn't work, what we should replicate, what we should not bother to do again. And so we spend the whole week just action-packed meeting with all of these people. And then we make it super practical. And so we give outlined plans. We give everybody the world's largest library on sustainable solutions and regenerative lifestyles, so that even after the expedition, people have literally thousands of resources on every aspect of living sustainably, from organic food, natural building, alternate renewable energy, community development, alternate currencies, holistic health, and dozens of more topics, all about how to live well and how to run sustainable businesses that can both be self-fulfilling as well as a benefit to nature and to your community.
Amazing. I'm so inspired.
Right on.
I am so inspired when I think about my current monthly tax bill and my current monthly overhead to run my business and my home, and just the amount of dollars that get moved around in my life. I think, gosh,
it's amazing.
There's just got to be a better way, and there's people living for $200 or $300, or even if I could live for $1,000 a month, how would my life be different? How much more time would I have? How much more joy would I have in my life if I was to alter the way that I did things, right? So it's really to get a deeper understanding and how to apply that in your life more, right?
Exactly. So to really get some good examples, get inspired, get the energy, and then get some real practical transition plans. Because if you don't have a clear idea, if you don't have a good support network, it can be tricky. But if you've got a nice, clear plan based on an inspiring vision, and you're connected to the people who can help you, fill the gaps and answer some of the questions that you have, that's really all that any of us need. None of this is complicated. It's just that we're not trained to do it. They don't share it in school. We're not hearing about it on the news, very little on, Facebook and stuff like that. So unless you make the connections to the people who are doing it, that's really the easiest way. It's really awesome to see your excitement. I mean, maybe you'd like to be a part of that.
Oh, wow. I would love to be a part of this. I would love to, get down there again at some point and be involved, any way that I can. any way that I
Absolutely.
can.
Well, I mean, we're doing the next expedition is going to be February 2nd through 9th in Costa Rica for a week. It's following the New Earth Paradigm Retreat. And that would be a really fantastic time if you were able to join us for that. You would be able to see and experience a lot of what I've been talking about, like make a lot of those same connections. And then what my deepest hope would be from that would be if everything that you saw, you were able to then share with other people who are also inspired to make those changes in their life. That's really what we're in this for. So
Wow.
the more
Yes.
everybody wants to do that with
Yes.
us, the better.
I would love to get on side with promoting what you're doing and you know, supporting it any way that I could. So you've got a retreat coming up, and then you've got
Yeah.
this event coming up. Both?
Exactly. Yeah. So the retreat is basically focused on sustainable living, community, holistic health. There's going to be yoga, natural medicine, plant walks. We're going to see some of the same things as on the sustainable living expedition, but here focused on like health and wellness. And so that's the first week is like really disconnecting from the rat race, from a lot of the the digital life, getting back to nature, enjoying some of the most spectacular, abundant natural surroundings you can imagine. I mean, we kind of all know that about Costa Rica, but it's something special to really spend a week immersing yourself into it. So that's kind of the foundation of it. And during that, there's I think about 15 activities throughout the week. So just nonstop opportunities to learn and to connect with experts. And then also for people who just kind of want to take it a little bit easier, then Costa Rica offers that too. There's lots of amazing ecotourism opportunities to walk for hours in the jungle. There's waterfalls, rivers, pools. Just it's pretty special.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So like, I mean, I teach people, to put their feet on the ground. I teach people to let the sun, fall on their forehead, come into their eyes. I teach people to use organic foods, fruits and vegetables, and to fast and drink healthy, clean water, and exercise and move, and yoga and breathing and breath work. This is all the stuff that I'm about. So, it sounds like everything that I believe in and try to encourage people to do is what's going on at this retreat.
Exactly. Yeah. When we moved down here, we, like I mentioned before, we connected with over 100 of some of the most pioneering projects. And so the model that we developed these events for is, again, our overall goal is not to do everything ourselves. It's to empower everybody else to be a part and to support all of their network to do it. So
Awesome.
the first thing we did when we saw here was we saw all of these amazing sustainability educators and holistic coaches and life coaches, and we basically weaved everybody's passions together into programs. So rather than creating a whole bunch of it ourselves, we just identified, this is the most gifted and inspiring yoga teacher within 50 kilometers of here. Let's invite her to be a part of this retreat. And this guy is created the most amazing abundant food forest, and planted with hundreds of tropical fruits, and he's in his 60s and looks just like the perfect image of health. And so like learning from him what he's doing for his tropical fruit vegan lifestyle is inspiring and very motivating. And so basically it's all of the different aspects of holistic living and just living a healthy, fulfilled life. And we bring in the best experts that we can find. Actually, another one, a good example is we're going to visit, see if this comes across. This is one of our favorite guys. So this is Ed Bernhardt. He wrote the book on medicinal plants in Costa Rica. He's been out here for about 35 years, and he's one of the farms that we'll visit. And he'll tell us all about finding the medicinal properties in plants from the rainforest and finding ways to process them effectively and minimally, and then share them with people as alternates to conventional medicals like pharmaceuticals or a lot of the really like toxic medical system that people are using. This guy has found a way to pull it out of plants and share it in a very simple and inspiring way. And so he's basically the highest expert in Costa Rica on this, and he's thrilled to be a part. So he's a hoot to visit.
Awesome. Awesome. I love the sounds of this event. So, I would love to get on side with promoting this event. Now, is this something that if I was to come down to that I could be a part of, like presenting and share some, nutrition, exercise, and mindset coaching, like I could get involved in this event?
Yeah, that's the whole point. So like the,
Oh,
we
wow.
figure out like what you're the most passionate about and what you
Oh,
think
yeah.
will most contribute to people living sustainably, and then plug it in.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I love this. Now, what's the date of that retreat then?
Sure. So the retreat, well, the Sustainable Living Expedition is February 2nd through 9th, and
Okay.
the retreat precedes that for 1 week. I don't have the date written in front of me, but it should basically be, I want to get you the right date, but roughly it's going to be March 25th to February 1st, give or take a day. So I want to make sure you get,
January 25th, 26th, around there?
maybe I
January,
misspoke. Yeah, January
January to,
25th to February 1st.
yeah, somewhere around there. The end of January. The end of January is the retreat, and then the sustainable living event is the week after that. So
Yeah, it
two.
picks up basically the next day. Yeah, so some people are going to be coming out here for 2 weeks in order to do the full nature immersion and relaxing and focus on holistic health, and then easing into a week of really applied learning on how to develop your lifestyle around all of these things.
Okay, okay. So 1 week of like yoga, coaching, exercise, healthy nutrition, a little decompression, get yourself in the right frame of mind. Maybe if you're into wanting to lose some weight, if you want to heal some pain, if you want to make some changes in your life and you want to really work on meditation, mindset, being, learning, submersing yourself with some people that are really going to be living that life, this is the place to do it. And then after that, if you feel like you want to stay even longer and learn how you could change your life forever and make sustainable living a part of the rest of your life, that's the following week. So make it even a 2-week event. Wonderful. I'm on side. I'm on side with you
Fantastic.
guys. I'm on side.
Great, John.
Fantastic. Okay, Eric, you know what? I'm super excited about this opportunity. I'm going to want to get all of your links and all of your contacts is what I'm
Sure.
going to want to do. I want to get all of the links, all of the contacts, and I'm going to want to start to promote this event right away with you guys and just get on side with you.
Great.
Love what you're doing. Love what you're doing. Thank you very much for spending some time talking to me about it today. I love it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Did
the
you?
opportunity.
You're very welcome. Did you want those links now, or did you want me to share them after the interview for you to put them online?
Why don't we do that on Messenger? You send me the links and I'll just attach them with this video, and
Sounds great.
I'll upload it and we'll attach the links, and that way people can find out how to get involved with our weight loss, mindset change, our healing program, and how you can live a happy, healthy, fulfilled life for the rest of your life.
Fantastic.
Awesome, man. Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot, Eric.
You're very welcome, John. It was a pleasure.